All right. Welcome back to Playing Games. If you thought this was a comics video, it's not. You can go back and choose another video. This is my role-playing game design tutorial. Not even a tutorial. It's just a thing I like to do. I came up with a whole other video and I recorded it and then I just threw it out because I realized I was starting to overwrite ideas that I'd had before. And then today, when I was thinking about that, I was like, you know, I think it's okay to overwrite ideas you had before. You're not committed to them. We can call this the first draft and move on to a second draft. We might be on a third, fourth, or fifth draft by the time we're done. But anyways, this is my overall world map. And I started to detail out some of the main countries, and I'm a little sad about the way this paper is bending, but I figured out a way that I could probably save some of it, so I'm gonna get some Scotch tape and fix it up. This is put together with 4 pieces of paper. Anyhow, as you know, when I first started goofing around with this, I was actually playing in it, and I created this country called Helmtraud, which is a Germanic country, and then across the inland sea here is Ruritania, which is our England country. And then I looked at what I had listed out, and I had listed out several countries or regions of my world map. Here they all are. But I had only named like 2 of them. So I started looking around at what the neighboring ones were, and I gave them names. So I've got Helmtraud, Ruritania, Edoria, Parthenia, Kiraz, and Caerleon. And I think those are the nearest ones. Let me look at what 33 is. We'll come up with a name on the spot. 33 is a wild area, so no worries. No worries. How about 16? 16 is a goblin kingdom of some kind. So I've got to come up with a name for this goblin kingdom. But I'm not familiar with the goblin language, obviously. If they teach the goblin language at your school, you were a luckier person than me. I went to a public university. Okay. A state college, if you will. The goblin culture was not taught. So I got some more hex paper printed out, and I thought maybe what I should do is just take this inner region that I've got and kind of trace it onto a new piece of paper, because 9/10 of it, you know, of this area, other than this country of Asgramar, will probably fit right on there. And you know what, Asgramar would fit. Actually, Asgramar would fit as well. So it may be time to do that, and then I'll repair this map with some Scotch tape and such. But here's the other idea I had, and I got this idea from another RPG called 13th Age. This is my copy of 13th Age by Rob Heinsu and Jonathan Tweet. And it's pretty much a standard 5th edition-esque, somewhere between 4th and 5th edition D&D thing. But what makes it cool are these icons. And the icons, the idea, to my mind, is that it came from 1st edition AD&D, when there's no implied setting to AD&D 1st edition at all. There's no implied setting. I mean, you could set it in Greyhawk, or you were expected to kind of make your own thing. However, in the monster manual, it included Bahamut and Tiamat. Bahamut being the platinum dragon, and Tiamat. It also included Asmodeus, the leader of the devils, and Demogorgon, the leader of the demons. And if you paid attention to the modules and the other things, you learned about other important characters throughout the mythos of D&D. And they sort of made their appearances in other ways. So what we have are these icons. And the icons are given kind of general names, and then you can kind of customize them. And their examples are, for example, the Archmage. There's an Archmage in your campaign that has preserved the Empire. He's achieved immortality. He's threatened the fabric of reality with experiments. He's the most important archmage in the campaign, or the Lich King, right? And in AD&D, everybody knew who Asarak was. The High Druid, also implied by the AD&D setting, or the Great Druid. And they have a list. They have the Archmage, the Crusader, the Diabolist, the Dwarf King, the Elf Queen, the Emperor. The 3, which is Tiamat, basically it's a 3-headed dragon of the evil dragons. The Prince of Shadows, which would be the Master Thief. The Priestess, the Orc Lord, the Lich King, the High Druid, the Great Gold Worm. And each of these represents what becomes a replacement for... Wait for it. What becomes a replacement for alignment. Aha! So, the understanding of alignment that we ended up in my day, and I started playing in first edition AD&D. We were in that sort of the 9 groups. You know, you had lawful good, neutral good, chaotic good, true neutral. You know, you had good and evil, law and chaos. But that's not what it really was meant to be. My new understanding of alignment is that you have alignment to a side. For example, alignment to the orcs, or the alignment to the forces of chaos. That's where the chaotic alignment comes from. A lot of it, if you just treat it as morality, we even used to have the saying, well, it's descriptive, not prescriptive, right? That my character is just chaotic. I'm chaotic neutral, you know? So, none of that exists in Tunnels and Trolls whatsoever. And remember, this, by the way, this is not a D&D campaign exactly. This is Deluxe Tunnels and Trolls. So we aren't really confined by any particular thing. So what I thought is I'd come up with my own set of icons, not using 13th Age, of course, we use our own. We make our own. So here's my ideas of the icons. And let's see if I've got a list of them. I've got them, one of them right here. But, oh, maybe it's on one of these pages. Oh, here it is, right here. Icons of Illeara. So instead of the Archmage, we have Merlin, literally Merlin, because one of the countries that I have in this campaign, Ruritania, is also literally Camelot, right? So it's ruled by King Arthur. You know, it's got all the knights and the Malorian romance, I guess we would call it, of Camelot, or Arthurian romance. And that is a major influence on the campaign, is Merlin and what Merlin's up to. Now, opposing Merlin is who else but Morgan Le Fay. And this is important too, because not only is Morgan Le Fay in opposition to Merlin, Morgan Le Fay also represents the Fae. The Fae are huge in Tunnels and Trolls. You might have seen one of my characters is Fex, who is a pixie. I also had Farah, who is a leprechaun. I even considered writing out, there's Fex and Farah right there, both Fae. I even considered kind of writing out the leprechaun race, you know. I've kind of written out dwarves out of the campaign. I'm now considering bringing them back, because it's kind of a cool idea. I don't know. I'm thinking about it. I wanted to move the assumptions away from Tolkien. Alright, so we've got this. This and this. Then we have this thing called the Great Dragon. And I have the Great Dragon. Oh, I've got a name for the Great Dragon. Or do I? There should be the first dragon. Or the oldest dragon. It's not the Great Dragon that I put in that campaign earlier. But it's something. Well, I don't know what it is. The Great Dragon. I think we just call it the Great Dragon. Then we have these other two forces, the Lords of Order and the Logris. Right? Now, if you know a little bit of Amber, Roger Zelazny's Amber, that's kind of where I'm basing this from, although not exactly. The Lords of Order are a human council of lords who have as and probably deities. There should be deities and semi-deities, demigods, who whose goal it is to establish order out of chaos. And then the forces of chaos that oppose them is the Logris forces of chaos, right? And included in the forces of chaos, well, there could be a lot of different things. Then I've got the Watcher in the Distance, or the Yellow King. The Yellow King is an alien, right? An alien force. And the aliens have always been part of D&D. If you look at the things like the Mind Flayer, the Beholder, certain of the really weird creatures that are in the AD&D feed folio, and certainly there have been throughout role-playing history, there was a time when fantasy and science fiction crossed over a lot. So the Watcher in the Distance is our Cthulhu mythos, but not exactly influence. And the Watcher in the Distance would be the one that sends the Yithians and otherworldly creatures that are attempting to invade the world of Illeara somehow. In 13th Age, they have this character that they refer to as the Lich King. I'm going the opposite direction. I've got this one character called Hieronymus, the King of Death, who is a Ghoul King. Yeah, he's going to be an immortal from the ancient era, like the ancient Babylonian era of whatever this world is, who has achieved undeath, and he created undeath, right? And he's still around. And he's actually he is aligned with the Lords of Order, right? He's part of the forces of law. And then finally, opposing that finally is Mulciber Rex of the Empire of Demons. They are an extra-planar demonic group that would also like to invade the underworld of Illeara. Also want to establish that there's an underworld that underlies the entire world, like that stretches from continent to continent, which means we may have to draw another region or continent map that displays the general underground areas and how you can go underground in one part of the world and travel for, leagues and come out of the surface out of a volcano, 1,000 miles away or something like that. We got to figure out how to do it. So it doesn't invalidate any of my old maps that I created. I haven't really addressed the Dream Realms, which I definitely want to be part of that. I got really into reading the all of the Dream Realms stuff from H.P. Lovecraft. They're not the same as the Cthulhu mythos at all. The Dream Realms stories are different. They're fantasy stories, right? It's completely different. All right. So, anyways. And it's the original isekai too. I mean, it's about characters that they fall asleep, they're able to enter another world in their dreams, and then some of them spend their entire lives trying to re-enter it. Some of them becoming like drug addicts, just to do it, and to finally achieve apotheosis, to transform completely into, to enter the dream realms on a permanent basis. Very cool. So anyways, that's my idea. So this officially begins the second draft. The second draft of Illeara. We haven't given up yet. I'm still doing lots of stuff. I'm still actually kind of having a lot of fun solo role-playing these characters through it, but I'm now beginning the second draft. We're going to make a more concise Illeara, one that makes more sense and one that's better well documented. I've also started to add other races. The other thing that I found is, I have all of these old role-playing game books, and there's great ideas in all of them. And I thought, I would like to add a bit of this or a bit of that into this Illeara thing. And so I've got other things. Like, I found another race that I think is really cool out of a game called Oathbound. This is a D20. This is an old D20 setting, and they have such cool these are the player character races. One was like this jellyfish creature, and then one was these things called Asherakes, which they describe them as tiger-like humanoids with wings. I'm going to call them Asherakes, but I'm going to say that they're Griffin men, right? Griffin men. And then I'm not going to do a jellyfish race, but maybe I will do a jellyfish monster. I also like these Chromithians, which are dragonoid men, these dragon men. And these cat people are cool, you know? This is long before 5th edition of the Lunars. I love this crazy art. These pickers are cool. They're like halfling-sized lizard men, and they're great at being scavengers. I also like Nightlings. Nightlings comes directly from Jack Vance, so I definitely want to use Nightlings somehow. Most of these will probably end up as monsters. I even created an entry for Beastmen that I came up with, and I don't know, man. I want to keep working on this. I think it's really cool. All right. So this has just been a quick update on the Illeara campaign. It's still going to go strong. I've just got to go and retrace part of this map and begin the second draft, opening up in our giant book over there. I will keep you updated. All right, talk to you later.